Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers, and we will take you through what is expected of Module 14, which is you will be UV mapping and texturing your Module Sci-Fi Hallway, those module assets that you created in Module 13. So basically, you're going to continue, and this is Module 14 Part 2. In this module, you will continue working from Module 13. You'll use your models and you'll UV map your Sci-Fi modular assets using UDIM tiles and take 3 screenshots of the materials on the modular assets, and then you'll take a screenshot of the UDIM UV tiles, and then you will take screenshots of the textile density. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. The student will texture the Sci-Fi modular assets in Substance Painter and take 4 screenshots of the texture Sci-Fi modular assets, and you'll do that in Substance Painter. You will not need to render out any images from Maya with the textures on. So we'll be texturing in Substance Painter and then doing screenshots of those pieces. Okay? All right. So in this lesson content, we're talking about color psychology and how colors influence your choices and your feelings. So watch those videos. Those are great videos. We don't have a quiz this week. This is just informational stuff for you guys. To get right into the course assignment, you're going to have to take all the models that you created, the low poly models you created, and UV map them. So basically, I'm just regurgitating what I just talked about, but just to highlight the course assignment, you will be adding additional details to the Sci-Fi modular hallway assets. The same thing we did in our weapons. When we were texturing our weapons, we added more detail by using the normal maps. So if you can't remember how to do that, then please watch those videos below. That'll refresh your memory. Okay, so the first thing you do is you're going to have to lay out the UDIM tiles, the UVs for all the pieces. But before that, you're going to add materials to them, and that's what you're going to go through here for UV mapping. So this is prep work. Before you start UV mapping, you'll add materials to specified faces first, and then I'll show you how to make it a lot easier to separate and UV map them. Okay, so materials will really help you if you want different materials, which this is what we want. We want at least 4 or 5 different materials per object. Okay, so this is a specific technique that I use, so make sure you watch this and get that all done, and then follow the rest of the UV mapping process. Okay, all right, makes it a lot easier. So this week you're required to bake the low poly onto the low poly. We did that with the low poly weapon, and this allowed us to use smart materials, which gives us wear and tear. Okay, so with that, you are also required to add additional detail to each modular wall asset. You don't need to do it to the floor or the ceiling, just the wall assets. Okay, and I need to see noticeable wear and tear to the edges. Okay, now you're going to have to give me screenshots when you're in Substance Painter of all the assets that you added textures to, but also I want you to zoom in to 2 of the larger wall assets to show me that you have wear and tear. Otherwise, I won't be able to see them from the faraway shots. Okay. You're also going to have to give me perspective screenshots of the materials in Maya. So I want to see the materials in Maya and UV tiles and textile density. So you have to give me screenshots from Maya and screenshots from your texturing in Substance Painter. Okay? So just go through the videos, and then when you get to the texturing in Substance Painter, then you will need to either watch these videos I did of the weapons, okay, and apply what you learned from those the weapons to texturing your modular assets. I'm not going to sit here and do the exact same texturing techniques I did for the weapons and then create another texturing for the hallways. That doesn't make any sense. So you can just use the knowledge that you learned, adding details and using Substance Smart Materials and Substance Painter, just exactly how I did it with the weapon. And if you need to try to refresh yourself, your memory of what we did last in the last module, then watch these videos. Okay, all right. When that's done, you are gonna. This is kind of the reference to how I want you to save out. So here's the materials on the modular assets in Maya. So I took a screenshot of that. Those are just materials, they're not textures, just materials I put on there. I want you to do the same thing with yours. You can use different colors, you can use different color materials. So I just need to see that. And these are the types of materials that I'm going to be using in Substance Painter. Okay, all right. So that's just kind of a color key, but I need to see a screenshot of that you actually did that. And then I need to see the UDEM UV tile screenshot layout of all the UV tiles. I want to see them all. If I don't, then points will be taken off. Okay, so you can see I have 19 UDEM tiles. Okay, all right. And then I want to see a textile density screenshot. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to go into the UV layout editor and click on the checker map and the file, all right, to be able to see that. You have to minimize the UV editor. Just minimize it. If you turn it off, it'll turn off the checkerboard, okay? So you just have to minimize that so we can get a full screen of your textile density screenshot, and that's what that looks like. Okay, and don't worry if there are areas like I have in I think the screens that I designated the screens right here to be smaller. Okay, I gave it a little more textile density. That's okay. You have little areas like that. That's okay. Just be careful. I want the majority of the larger pieces to have the same, okay, textile density. Just be careful. The small little areas like screens, giving it a higher textile density is okay. All right. All right. So, and then I need a screenshot. Now this is just one. This is the left perspective screenshot from Substance Painter. This is just one example. Okay, I've got all three examples that I need for the UDEM for the materials, the UDEM UV tile screenshot, and the textile density, but I only have one for one screenshot of the left side. This is the left side, so I'm going to need you to do a screenshot from the right side. And this is not a mirrored image. I just laid these out before I laid these out this way in Maya before I sent it out as an OBJ with the UDEM tiles all set up. But I just laid them up right so it's easier to see them when I'm texturing in Substance Painter. Okay, that's just how I brought it into Substance Painter, just like that. You can do the same thing if you want to. And so I'll need the right hand side, so the other side perspective. And then when I say I want close-up screenshots of the Substance Painter of your wall assets, click on any one of these and get a really close-up of it, meaning I can see a full view, okay, of it. Because right now I can see that I did add edgeware, I can see that, but it's hard to see. So if you want to get graded properly, then give me a close-up of like 2 of these, or maybe 3, all 3 of these. Just get me a closer, and just, basically zoom in to like 2 or 3 of these wall pieces, so I know that you have wear and tear. Okay, it's obvious that I can see it. Okay, if you can't see it, I can't see it. All right. So that's the kind of thing. So give me 2 of those, 2 close-ups, maybe a close-up of these 2, right here, these 2, and then a close-up of these 2 is fine. Okay? All right. That should be good enough. And then, of course, the grading rubric it talks about the UV packing and texturing. So I need to make sure you read this. All right, so make sure they're not overlapping, and they're not going outside the border. Make sure that you bake the low poly onto the low poly. You can watch the videos if you don't understand that. I want additional detail on the module walls for each one of the walls, not the floor or the ceilings, just the walls. I want to see noticeable wear and tear on the edges. Okay, this comes from you giving me those screenshots. If I don't have those screenshots, I can't grade you on anything. Okay, so if you give me no screenshots, you won't just be getting 20 points taken away. If I can't grade you on UV packing, texturing from those screenshots, then basically you get no points, 0 points on everything, because it is imperative that I have those screenshots to be able to grade you for this stuff, if that makes sense. Okay? So, no screenshots, no points, and each day that it's late, you turning stuff in. Even if you turn something in, like you gave me your MB, FBX, and OBJ file, I can't grade any of this stuff without the screenshots. Okay? All right. So just keep that in mind, right? So if you don't turn any screenshots in, that's why you're not going to be graded on only certain things. Okay? So just keep that in mind. All right. So we have this is probably the most important area here, getting this stuff turned in. Your MB file. The MB files are just modeling, so I'm really grading you on your screenshots. Okay? Right? So screenshots are huge here. Okay? So you'll see this probably changed to, probably 40 points, and this is just probably 30 points, and then I'll bring this to 10 points, okay? Because this is actually a lot more important. So you'll see this change to 30 points. This will change to 10 points, okay? Because this is so important. I can't really grade you on anything else except, if you don't have these, okay? All right. All right, so turn-in instructions. Of course, you guys can read all that stuff. There's nothing different here. I don't need your exported textures from Substance Painter yet. You will have to have those eventually for the rendering part. So if you do see me exporting them out, then it's probably because you'll need to have them your textures for the next module. Okay? All right. So that's what that's all about. So get me all the screenshots. The MB files is kind of I probably already have those, but go ahead and give me those anyway. Just give me the MB file, the FBX, and the OBJ file for those. Take you 5 minutes to do that, and then the biggest part is making sure. And I don't need this. This I don't need this week, but you're going to have those. Okay? I don't need these this week, but you're going to need to have those for yourself. But you don't need to turn these in. I'll have that taken out. Okay? And that's it. So get me the scenes, the screenshots, and you're good to go. So make sure you look at these examples here, okay, that I need for the UVing, the materials and the UV mapping, okay? And then I need to have at least 4 of these. This is just one example, so you need to have 4, and I went through all that. So, all right, have a great week, and I will see you guys in our last module 15, which is where we're going to add all the textures and then put them all together to make a really cool hallway and create a scene with a light hallway and a dark hallway, which will be fun. All right, I will see you next week in module 15. Have a great holiday season, and I'll see you next time.